earth did I get so into feet? And why did I create an entire business around it? Here's the story. Most folks know me as that barefoot coach, walking around the gym barefoot or in toe shoes and preaching online about natural foot function. But what most don't realize is just how personal this journey and commitment is to me. You see, in 2010, at the peak of my competitive dance career, I broke my 5th metatarsal in my left foot 2 weeks before competition started. At the time, I didn't realize the impact this break would have for years to come, but it ended up being the starting point of my foot journey. After spending 12 weeks in a cast and a boot, I went to one session of physical therapy where they told me to do calf raises to regain my strength. I was then cleared to exercise, resume normal activity and dance again, and was sent on my way. Now, I was uninformed and naive at that time, but even then, I knew that that one session was a complete joke. Of course, at the same time, I didn't have the knowledge and expertise to properly rehab that foot and make sure it didn't cause problems in the long run. So for the next decade, I dealt with a hip hike, uneven legs, and hip and neck pain that often resulted in overuse injuries. And because of this, I constantly hit a wall with my progress in the gym, especially throughout my powerlifting years. It really didn't matter how much I trained. It always felt like my progression with strength was accompanied by pain. Yes, it was powerlifting that really exposed the discrepancies and imbalances throughout my body. Now, at the time, I didn't realize that the root of all that was my foot. That realization took a lot more time to develop. Now, knowing what I know now, here are the things that I wish they would have told me in that one physical therapy session that I received. Number 1, your shoes matter way more than you think. The stack height, rigidity, heel-toe drop, toe box, all dramatically affect the function of your feet and therefore your recovery process too. Anything with a stiff and rigid sole is going to highly limit your foot strength and neural connection, because without getting the sensory feedback from the ground to the foot, the muscles turn off and the nerves end up not really having a job, so they stop working too. A heel-toe drop changes the position of your foot, therefore the postural alignment and your gait as a whole. And the worst part about modern day shoes, the tapered toe box, totally disconnects you from natural foot function because it disconnects you from the big toe, it decreases blood flow to the foot as a whole, and it puts you at a much higher risk for toe deformities like bunions and hammer toes. It also loads the foot in a very unnatural way, and over time, this leads to things like neuromas and neuropathy. This isn't to say that I think somebody coming fresh off a broken bone or other serious foot injury should jump right into minimalist shoes. Absolutely not. But I can't help but think about how different my outcomes could have been if I were barefoot or in nothing but natural footwear from the very beginning. Maybe I would have never broken my foot in the first place. Take a look at these 2 shoes. This one, we probably all know good and well, especially if you're a powerlifter, the classic Converse. And this one, similar concept, similar style, but foot-shaped. When we consider that a human foot is shaped more so like this, it's no wonder that we have so many problems when we're forcing our feet into a shoe shaped like this. And this one leads me to my next point. Number 2, modern day shoes have made your feet extremely dysfunctional. Take a look at this picture. This top one is my feet in 2017, before I did all of the work, and this bottom one is my feet in 2024, after I did a ton of work, embraced a barefoot lifestyle, and spent a ton of time strengthening my feet and integrating that strength into the rest of my body. Now, we'll save foot integration for a future video. In terms of my feet, I wish the physical therapist would have told me that at the young age of 18, I already had bunions and hammer toes and a completely dysfunctional pinky toe that didn't even touch the ground. Thinking back on this, knowing what I know now, I can't believe that I was just cleared to exercise and resume all normal activity, especially considering I was coming off a broken bone and my foot was not only weaker, but even more dysfunctional than it was before the break. And this brings me to point number 3. Walking and moving without pain is not an indication of proper function or that you're ready for high impact exercise and movement. This is a huge problem, especially for athletes and folks that are really active, because what do we do if we have an ache, a pain, or something limiting us? Just tape it up. Movement integrity, or the quality of your movement patterns, is not really taken into account in the medical field. It's more like, you can walk? Yeah, see you later. And when it comes to the athlete or the very active person, that does not cut it. People that love to move, exercise, play sports, get outside, and just the overall ability to move their bodies really do not do well when they start struggling with injuries in the long term. And most of these injuries come from the overuse in these poor movement patterns. It's not overuse because you're old. My body hurt way more in my 20s than it does now in my mid-30s. And that's because I started paying mind to my movement integrity and the quality of my movement patterns, starting with my feet. And I don't want to place any fear-mongering on this by saying that just because you don't feel pain when you walk or move or exercise doesn't mean that you're functioning properly or ready for high-impact exercise. Just bring more awareness to your movement. Make sure that when you are squatting and you're lunging, that your knees are tracking where they should. Your feet are functioning and supporting your body as they should. Your core is engaged. Make sure you're moving in a variety of ways. You're rotating, you're moving laterally, you're on the ground. Because when you bring more attention to these different aspects, you realize that it's not just getting old. You just need to move more and move better. And that's how you bulletproof your body. Now, if you're an athlete or an active person and you feel like your feet, your knees, your hips, or some other nagging pain or injury is holding you back, click the link in the description to book a call to speak with me directly to see if working with me would be a good fit for you.